Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the show. This is Product PH. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It is our fourth show in the last few months. If you've been with us in the last few weeks, you have been listening to some of our amazing speakers talking about product management. And that's because we are Product PH, and our vision is for world-class products to be built in the Philippines. Now, what we're trying to create here is provide an open space for people interested in building great products, where you can connect, share ideas with each other, and build relationships with each other. And as part of that, it's also growing and knowing more about the industry, knowing more about how to actually do product management. And today we have a show that will talk about how we can turn pain points into opportunities, feature opportunities. If this is your first time joining and you're wondering why I'm looking up, it's because I'm in a gaming chair because I'm a person of culture and this is the only one that I could find available. I also have some of the more important things that a streamer or a host will need. It's a trusty video setup, your PlayStation 4 control pad when things get a little extra dicey, and of course, your go-to drink, which is your daily dose of vitamin C. If you haven't gotten your vaccination yet, drink up on those vitamins and stay healthy, everyone, so you can keep joining Product PH every month for our shows. Now, speaking of shows, let's get right to it. Our guest for today is Arnie Punla, who is going to talk about customer journey mapping. Interesting, CJM. Now, it's one of the best tools that product owners can use to hit that sweet spot for best customer experience, which hopefully leads to better user acquisition and retention. And I say that because when users love your product, they'll show you that love back. Now, right before we start, I want to thank our organizers and volunteers, Ann Balmoria, John Pinto, Audrey V, Keith Lopez, and Giancarlo Villaluz. And that's me, who's going to be your host for tonight. Okay, I don't want to take up too much time. Let me introduce our guest for today. We have Arnie Punla from FWD. Arnie, if you could join us now, I am going to put myself on mute. And by the way, while the show is going on, if you want to join us and say something on the show, ask a question, or give your comments, if you look to the lower left of your browser, you will see a microphone icon which says grab the mic. Not an invitation for a video, okay, but we're going to get there someday. But if you want to, either click those emojis, send us a message. We are watching the chat, so chat, let us know what you need. But um, let's not take any more time away from our guest. Arnie, welcome to the show.
Hey, Zian, thanks for that nice introduction. Hello, everyone. I hope you can all, see and hear me clearly. Kindly pop in any comments on the, comment box if you can't hear me or if there is anything you don't understand. I'll probably share with you my slides now no, so that we don't take too much of the time during, for the introduction. Wait lang. Share my screen. See this one. I hope everyone can now see my screen.
Yes, I can.
All right. Thank you, Gian. So our topic for today is, like as Gian has mentioned, it's turning pain points into opportunities. I think we as product managers, we are in that strategic position to influence and make customer centric decisions for our products to actually turn pain points into opportunities for improvement or enhancement, especially now in the rise of omni channels where product or brand is present in multiple channels. So for this topic, we're going to be discussing customer journey mapping and how it can transform your MVP to MLP. Here, I think in product PH and I guess all of the product managers normally talk about, the minimum viable product and less about the minimum lovable product. It's because, we always jump onto what's the fastest thing to develop and to release out there so we can start testing. But how about we transform, the MVP into an MLP so that it's already acceptable? It's already something that is, a solution to whatever it is that our customers are experiencing right now. But before I go into that, I'd like to share a story. Wow, maalala. Charot. So I think we are all familiar with this local department store brand that we probably all went to growing up. Now this brand is really good at what they do. They probably have already studied the best layout for their department store so that the mothers are downstairs because they're buying home decors, and the fathers are upstairs buying men's stuff. And the techies are on the higher floors because they have the energy to still go up and down floors. Now, syempre, nagka-pandemic, they had to shift their business from solely a successful offline or in-store brand to having an online purchase um, or online presence in multiple channels. So if you have experienced their online touchpoint right now, you can see that the experience is way more difficult than the offline. So why is that so? I think kagaya sa ating mga product managers, 'di ba? Our only goal or our goal initially is just get it out there. Their focus is probably to launch it now because the pandemic is now, and the pain points for the online customer touch points have not been uncovered yet. So if you're probably a customer of one of their online touch points, you can mention a lot of pain points. Sobrang the filters are not good. Parang I was looking for the kind of convenience or the kind of familiarity that I had when I am on their on-site store or in-store, department store. Parang I was looking for the experience na I know that the gadgets are all together. I know that I can find my makeups in this category or something, but it was just chaotic. And I checked the app and then I checked another store and apparently there's another e-commerce shop. But when you log into one of them and you log into the other one, they are not connected. So the experience is just totally broken. So I guess that's one of an example wherein the pain point wasn't identified. It was just released out there. So in your own experience, how do you identify and turn pain points into opportunities? You can probably mention any, you can share anything that you're currently doing in your current company if you have any. But if not, we'll proceed. Do you have any? Ayan, wala tayong comments. Sige, proceed na muna ako. Oy, sorry. Nagmamadali yung... Ayan. So we all know that product managers are adept at reading analytics and dashboards. Ngayon, I'd like to ask, as a product manager, what can you infer from this photo? So we have 6 ATMs, no? And then a bar chart at the bottom. What can you infer? I'd like to get parang an answer from anyone in the group. What is your inference or what can you say about this photo based from the bar chart and the ATMs? No one? Promise talaga. Product managers, I think you're really good at you are really good at analytics and dashboards. Okay? Okay, so I'm seeing more deposits over time. There's one that says leftmost ATM machines are the first to go to because it's the start of the line. And then there are signs on top. Juan Bata. Wow, that's actually it. So I'm not sure if you've already seen this image from the past, but the chart below is telling us that ATMs 1 to 4 have more withdrawals compared to ATMs 5 and 6, and ATMs 4 to 6 have more deposit transactions compared to ATM 1 to 4. Yeah, that's also the kind of parang insights that you will get if you see this photo, because we didn't see what is really happening. Bakit kaya the customers are just withdrawing from ATMs 1 to 4? Are they moving pa kaya to ATMs 5 to 6 to just deposit? So to further understand what is happening, it's this. Ayan. So apparently, there are labels at the top of the ATMs that sort of give instructions to customers na, hey, dito ka mag-withdraw, tapos dito ka mag-deposit. Parang ganon. So this is the kind of thing that we do not see or understand unless we go through the customer journey and understand the experience. It's like understanding their insights or their thoughts about the instructions that you're giving them. Parang if your first time dun sa environment and nakita mo tong instructions na to and you didn't want to ask anyone if you can withdraw or deposit from all of the ATMs, you'll just follow the instructions kasi you didn't want to sound stupid or you didn't want to sound like newbie. Parang ganon. So that's a kind of experience that or that's the kind of information that we don't get unless we are there to see the holistic or entire picture. So what did they do after realizing that there's that kind of instructions on top? Sorry, ayaw mag... Wait lang. There. So they changed the banner into something like this. So that's how you turn pain points into an opportunity for improvement. So that's one of our examples. So as you can see, they changed the banner on top. Now it kind of tell the customers na you can withdraw and deposit from each of these machines. So you see, when we understand customer journey, when we immerse ourselves into the experience, when we talk to them, when they walk us through their emotions, their actions, and their thoughts on the instructions on how we present stuff, that's when we can start thinking about what can be done to improve the situation. Eto, papunta na tayo sa topic. So, for the entire discussion this evening, we're going to cover this idea, the insurance buying journey. Why? Because this is what's closest to my heart at the moment because I am from FWD. I'm going to pause the sharing of my screen because I want to ask you a question. Wait lang ha, tanggalin ko yung screen share. And then I'm going to ask you a poll. I hope everyone can see this. Just so we get an understanding of everybody's familiarity on the topic. I hope you guys can tap on the poll buttons. 9 votes in. Okay. "13 votes in." Okay. So I can see that we have at least 61% of our attendees who have done customer journey mapping before, and about 5 or 38% of our attendees who have not done customer journey mapping before. And I like this mix of our audience because kita mo na customer journey mapping can be used in product management, product development, but not all industries are doing it right now. So let me just go back na to the one that I was sharing a while ago. Let me stop. How do I stop this one? End poll. Let me go back to my screen. Ayan. Now we're back to the topic. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your experience. At least, alam mo yun, meron akong guidance on who am I talking to, what's the kind of audience that that we have right now. And this is exciting because we may have different techniques and backgrounds on customer journey mapping, but it is good because we are going to talk about something that will all help us in any situation. It's like Scrum, it's like Sprint. It isn't specific to software development. It can be used to other in different scenarios, and it's helpful for us in product management. So, probably before going into this discussion or this talk, you've probably have searched the internet about customer journey mapping. You've probably checked, or even probably right now, you're already checking what is customer journey mapping? What are the templates for customer journey mapping? And you will see that there are a lot of formats around. But for this topic or for this evening, we're going to be covering the most important sections. And we'll stick to the basics, which looks like something like this. So it's going to have the stage of the journey, the interactions or the touch points, the events or actions, pain points, and opportunities. So these are the basic parts of my customer journey map because it has all the important features for me to understand where the customer is at, what was he doing, what was the struggle, and of course, the section for the opportunity for that struggle. But we cannot jump onto the customer journey map without the customer. To help us visualize the journey, we can have a real customer to describe their experience or create a persona to represent our target user. So a persona is a semi-fictional character that can help or that can represent most of your target users. It helps you create a shared understanding for or of who are you designing it for. So most of you are probably already familiar with user personas. But for our example here, let's call this guy Mr. John de la Cruz. Of course, the name is not enough for us to define the persona. We need to sort of personalize our persona. For your persona, you can interview an actual customer. But since it's pandemic and since you're already working with your numbers, you probably already have defined a certain group of customers to which your next solution will be addressed to. So you can formulate a persona based from their information. Like this. So his name is John de la Cruz. He's got a gender, civil status, age, and his, if he's millennial or what, or late bloomer. He works in a tech company. He considers himself a gamer. He doesn't have insurance yet, and he is introvert. So when you're creating a persona, it is important that you give as much information as you can for the user persona so that when you are developing a solution or identifying the pain points, you sort of have an idea that this is how a techie would think. Or if you've spoken to like a grandma, you know that this grandma doesn't have a Facebook account and she doesn't have an internet access or something like that. Without the persona, it is possible that the solution that you're building is too broad. It's probably not responding to any specific problem or pain point. So now that we have identified our user persona, which is John de la Cruz, it's time for us to build our customer journey map. So first off, naalala nyo kanina, I've shown you the template, right, for our customer journey map. Our basic customer journey map will have the stages, the touch points, the actions, pain points, and opportunities. Before we're able to identify all of this, the most important part is that we know the stages of the journey. Because if we don't, it's impossible for us to plot the next steps, right? So for the insurance buying journey, we have the following stages. So as you can see, it's kind of similar naman to, other buying journey that we have, be it for a physical product, a service, or whatnot. There will always be discovery and awareness. There will be the actual buying journey. There will be servicing. Claims could probably name something else. And then there's cancellation, withdrawal, or the maturity of the product or the service. So next part, after you've identified the stages of the journey, next part will be to identify the touch points. What are the touch points? What are the systems, the channels, or the tools where they will experience the stage of the journey? So for the discovery and awareness, we have the social media and direct messages. So for an insurance product, just like any other promotions, they are most likely on social media or offered by an agent through direct messages. So mostly on social media talaga. And then what will be the actions kaya? So John de la Cruz, during the discovery and awareness, he will read the details, ask questions, or see an ad and ignore it. Itong part na to na they will see an ad and ignore it, parang majority of those who see our ads are, ignoring our ads after some time. And so it also helps that we know that John de la Cruz is a gamer and works in a tech company, because we will know na, okay, kapag gamer ka, would you have an interest to even read about an insurance or something like that? Now, at this point, considering nga na John is all this, na works in a tech company, he's a gamer, he doesn't have an insurance, and he's an introvert, these are the potential pain points. He'll probably say na, I'm too busy at work and play. I find insurance a bit too technical and complicated, and he probably doesn't want to talk about his finances. You know how, the gamers are just, in their cocoon working on their probably live stream or something, but they don't want to talk about their finances. And they're probably just too shy to talk to anyone. So now that these pain points are not just mere hula or just what I have at the top of my mind. When we write the pain points, this can be based from uh, what we heard from a similar persona. It can be a feedback that we've gotten from before, or it could be from me because I am the same persona sharing the same sentiments for this journey. Now, considering these pain points, at the stage of discovery and awareness, these are the opportunities. We can create easy to read and easy to understand materials, offer materials that is accessible anytime. As you can see, the opportunities are not too mind-blowing. Hindi siya yung parang solution that will fix all of the insurance company's problems. No, it can be very simple. It's just an opportunity to improve whatever it is that you have right now. Sinabi ni John na, I don't want to talk about my finances. Then that's fine. You probably just need information on what this product is about. So if we provide him, an infographic of what this product will offer you after 10 years or something like that, and a material that can be accessed anywhere in the internet, probably in his email, in his, messenger, or just anywhere in the internet that he can read when he has the time or he had the curiosity. At least the material is available so that he can read through it, and if he's interested, he will buy. And then we're going to do the same for the rest of the stages of the journey. So I've filled this out for you, but we can go through each of them para lang we can get a feel of why is it that for each of the stages. So for the buy, the touch point will be the sales illustration. It's the form where all of the information about the policy and the product that you're getting is listed. And also the agent system. The agent system is where your advisor will input all of your information or whatever it is that you've discussed. So what are the actions for John? He will fill out forms, pay, submit requirements, but the pain points would always be, I think this is the same, not just specific to John, but to all others who are buying insurance, that there will be too many forms, too many requirements, and the payment method is complicated. So the opportunities for that is one, you can simplify your questions and forms, or you can offer products that doesn't need underwriting. When we say it doesn't need underwriting, it's approved by the insurance commission, um, and it has lesser documents. Those kind of products that doesn't require uh, medical or something. They always offer probably the smaller face value, so like just around 500,000 pesos or something. And then you can also offer better payment facility for the initial payments. So, ayun, I'm just gonna go through all of these steps, but I'd like to know if you guys have any questions so far. Okay, sorry. So, how do you determine the information you put in each column through surveys assumptions? Thanks for the good question, Anne. So, actually, like I've mentioned, what we at least for the touch points, these are the ones that are already available at the moment. So, si John, ano yung posible niya maging touch points sa discovery and awareness. Sa example natin na to, the only way that he can discover or be aware of the product is through social media or direct messages. So this is the current. Now the actions are based on what you know. Yeah, based on what you know. So for the actions, kung discovery and awareness, these are not just assumptions but collective information na ano bang ginagawa ng isang applicant when buying um, uh, policy. Siyempre, mag-fill out siya ng form, mag-pay. So, yung action na part, this is what is current. So pain points, these are based on your persona, the kind of person that you're talking to. So hindi lang siya, it can be through surveys. It can also be a bit of assumptions, but most of the time you have some sort of a source of that information, like either an insight, a survey. It could be you were able to talk to someone over the phone, and that was the strong emotion or the strong feedback coming from them, even if hindi nyo pinag-uusapan yung pain point. So it could be that. Next question, death claim. Obviously, the customer cannot do this. Should there be another persona for this? Hi, Christian. Actually, you're right. The death claim isn't something that John can do if he is the insured person. It's definitely his beneficiary. So when you're creating your customer journey map, you're gonna have to think about that too, na parang, okay, kung death claim yung ifa-file niya, sino magfa-file nun? Siya ba? Siyempre hindi. It's his beneficiaries. So how can we help his beneficiaries? Or what can we provide John so that his beneficiaries are equipped with the information that they need so that they can file the death claim? Something like that. So dito sa claims, may nakalagay tayo na provide a presentation for beneficiaries about claims. This is, para siyang pocket of information containing everything that your beneficiaries will need in case the, unwanted happens. Next question. How do you ask the right questions to get the information? Is there any framework that we can follow? Hi, Angelica. For customer journey mapping, our target is to ensure that we don't feed answers to them as much as possible, even if you already have insights on, let's say you've created a design for a button. You don't tell them, you don't describe it for them, you don't tell them, does it look nice? Will you, you think this is nice color or something like that? Hindi ganon. Your questions will always be, what will be your first move after makita tong button na to? How do you feel about this button? Parang ganon. But don't give them clues on what they should feel and what they should think about the buttons that you're presenting. Similar when you're creating probably an avatar. You don't tell them na, does this avatar um does this avatar exude friendliness or something? Hindi ganon. Kailangan you let them describe the experience for you so that you can get a more parang a more insightful response. Ayun. So I guess I've answered the questions for now. Let me just go back to the topic. Ayan, sorry. Wait lang, hindi ko maklik. Ayan. So after natin syempre ng buying stage, there's gonna be the servicing. What happens to the servicing? As the person who knows all of the stages of the buying journey, I will know that customers will or can add beneficiaries, change their information, they can pay premium, manage funds. There are a lot of things that they can do during the servicing. But what are the potential touch points considering these are the actions? What are the potential pain points? So may isip ko, sa mobile app, I think they might forget I think the top questions that we're getting from our contact center is that they keep forgetting their password. Or the kind of comments that we normally get is that it's hard to use the app. They don't know how to use the app or something like that. And then from that pain points, you can come up with opportunities that, okay, so since they always forget their password, why don't we improve the login option? Oh, and then for the I don't know how to use the app, you can offer app tutorial, para mga hot tips or something like that sa app para they know, or like a walkthrough para they know how to navigate through the app. Or you can educate your advisor so that they know the app, and when their clients ask them questions, they know how to answer. Same with claims and the cancellation and withdrawal. You just have to know the current touch points, know the potential actions, identify the potential pain points based from the customer or the user persona that you have, and then tie an opportunity to that pain point. Now, this is an example of a complete customer journey map. Now what? So now that we have identified the pain points and the opportunities, it's our next step will be to digest on the opportunities and build solutions. So these are the pain points kanina, diba, and the opportunities. What do you think are our next steps? Our next steps will be a lot. Hindi lang siya parang isang upuan tapos na natin yung problema. Na-identify pa lang natin yung problema at na-identify pa lang natin what are the opportunities for improvement. Siyempre, our next step will be to look into each of the opportunities and tackle the solution. And the solution may be coming from the business, maybe coming from your technical team, maybe coming from your design team or your marketing team. So it can come from different departments. But to fix the entire journey, it's not solely dependent on you. It's really gonna need help from your operations, from your business, from your tech team, and your designers. So from the opportunities, you can draw up solution out of all of these opportunities identified. Next, you need to perform a test before implementing the solutions that you've drawn up based from the opportunities. Kasi it is possible na dun sa servicing, you've identified na our opportunity is to improve the app's login option. So, what kind of solution kaya gagawin mo doon? Pwedeng maglagay ka ng social media login, enable the Face ID, the biometrics. You can come up with a different login option. There's Gcash with MPIN. So, you can come up with different solutions, but you need to validate first with your customer. Is this kind of fix? Is this kind of solution even, or will this even work? Kasi baka nag-offer ka ng panibagong login option for your customers, but then pagdating sa kanila, they don't even know how to use it. Parang mas complicated siya than what it is now. So, nasira lang ulit yung journey. Parang nadagdag pa siya sa pain point. So, you have to perform a test, validate with your customers before implementing it. Lastly, follow it up with surveys or voice of the customer after the implementation. You've probably heard about VOCs. VOC is the voice of the customer. It's like a little survey after each of transaction. You see it on Grab, on Foodpanda, on Gcash. It's basically asking, would you recommend that company to your friends and family after your recent transaction? Or were you happy about the last experience that you had with the app? Why is that important? Because that's a real-time feedback from the customer that you can get after nilang gawin yung whatever transaction that they did on the app or on your even sa agency or communication via call or chat. After that, you can release an email asking them if they could rate the last agent that you've spoken to so that you know and you understand bakit hindi sila natuwa dun sa last conversation? Was it because sobrang haba ng instruction, or was it because the person that you've spoken to didn't know how to resolve your issue or something like that? So when you have VOC, when you have the surveys to get that kind of feedback, you'll be able to integrate those responses again into your CGM so that your pain points will be redefined to what it is that you know now based from your VOC. So before I end this topic, I just wanted to leave you with this quote from Bill Gates, because it resonates so much with what I just discussed. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So let's make use of the feedback and pain points of our customers to build solutions that matter. Yun lamang. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnie. Thank you, Chad, for joining us. And if you are still on the show, we are now in our Q&A portion, our most favorite part of the program, where we get to know more about our speaker and what they talked about for the program. Okay, so we learned a lot about customer journey mapping today and how we can really turn pain points into opportunities. Not always features, scary, but opportunities to make improvements on your product, or I guess in some cases, just the journey themselves. That being said, I have a few questions that we're going to talk about with
Mhm.
our free time for today. But chat, if you have anything you want to say, please use the chat at any time and we'll read off your questions as soon as we get them, or react with an emoji, or request to actually ask your question by grabbing the mic. Again, it's in the lower left portion of your browser. It says grab the mic. I'm assuming that it says that because mine says manage the mic and I've got pretty little emojis here. Again, random, but I digress. But let's get right to it. Okay, Arnie,
Mhm.
great talk about customer journey. That being said, customer journey mapping looks like it takes a lot of time. And I'm just basing this off on how extensive that chart was with the just the sheer volume of information inside it. Um, but I guess in your case, how much time do you invest in performing the stages of CJM? Because it looks like it's not just a one-stop shop. It looks like a whole exhaustive research and putting yourself in the customer's shoes. Is there a time frame that you set for this? Is it an ideal time frame? And if so, how do you figure that out without running the risk of under researching what you need to do in understanding the problem?
Oh, well, to be honest, it really takes time. So it's not ideal when you have a release tomorrow. So it's mostly about 4 hours. It's like sprint planning, parang ganon.
Mm,
And you mostly involve other people so that it's not just a one person defining this. You can involve your marketers, you can involve your contact centers who have the information, for the pain points.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, medyo mahaba siya. Hindi siya parang isang upuan matatapos mo siya.
No, that's true. Chat, again, if you're wondering why I'm looking up, it's because my screen is hanging on the wall. But yeah, that's a great point, Arnie, saying
Mhm.
it takes significant amount of time. I will guess, though, that it takes 10 times more time just to find a schedule that works for everyone, or just
Yeah.
get marketing into the room.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, any
that's the
marketing team here?
biggest
Sorry.
chunk of the problem. You finding the perfect time so that all of the representatives are there. Hey, we have a question from Anne.
Mm-hmm,
She says, when is the best time to do CJM? Is it before or after the first release of the product?
mm-hmm,
As CGMs can actually be done at the beginning, it can also be done when you've already released something. When you have when you did the CGM at the beginning, when you have not released any app yet, what you're developing could be coming from the current issues. You can also do a CGM so that you can verify whether the current app is already answering previous pain points. So
mm-hmm,
you're parang refining your CGM so that it's like a living document that has an improved pain points, that has improved opportunities because you've already released something.
mm-hmm. Do you have measures or indicators in place that can sort of trigger an event for CJM? I don't suppose it's just something that you wake up in an afternoon and say, "Oh, I have to do CJM now." What are some of the indicators that you've used in the past, or you think you could recommend that product managers can look out for to say that, "Oh, I think it's time that we reviewed how our product works."
So, for the example um, that Anne has mentioned, when when you first release the product, and then there are a lot of bugs, and or probably you've already refined the product to a certain extent, and
Mm-hmm.
still you couldn't identify what's the best solution. So what are the opportunities ba? Kasi there are so many noises coming from different feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ano ba yung target natin for this customer specifically? Ano bang need natin dito? Ano bang pain points niya? So
Mm-hmm.
let's gather all of the feedback from this customer. Alam mo naman sa product management, 'di ba? Hindi tayo laging parang may action. There are times na we no longer know what to do. There are times na it never happened to you because it happened to me. I
That
never
sounds like a Tuesday.
parang ano
Every
siya.
week. Okay.
So parang I've already released this product,
Mm-hmm.
tapos it's good. It's just that it's now looking towards the next big thing. And I was like, ano nang gagawin ko? We
Mm.
have the marketing's running their thing,
Mm-hmm.
the developers are improving the codes or stuff, but what's the next big thing, diba? Parang for us to identify that next big thing, the best person that you can talk to is your customers because they are the ones who are going to use the product. So when you think of survey, when you think of talking to your customers, you can always use the CGM, kind of think or format so that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's parang nakalatag lahat, nadadaanan mo lahat ng
Yep.
potential issues.
Okay. That's an interesting point. We have another question on the chat, but I have a follow-up question talking about that. You mentioned that at times when you fix the problem and you released it, you just find your customers either want more or there are times when releases miss the point entirely. So how do you prepare and avoid that? And I'm going to set an example where at one part when you're creating your personas, right? You take this from the information that you're surfacing from your customer feedback. But are there steps that you can use to ensure that the persona that you're creating is talking about a particular customer type and not an imagined customer developed by personal bias or product
Mm.
bias? Because
Yeah.
as a product manager, you want to answer a specific question, but
Mm.
perhaps the question you're asking may be wrong. What are some good steps to avoid creating erroneous personas, per se? I would say.
Well, actually, good question yan, Gian, because most of the times, tayo product managers, we have our own biases. We have experiences from previous releases, and we think that what works before will work next time. The
Mm-hmm.
person that I have talked to 2 years from now is still the same persona that I will describe this time. So,
Mm-hmm.
for us to avoid that, we need to look into our dashboards, our insights. Do you have any um, numbers or information about your audience, like
Mm-hmm.
who are they, what are the kind of users that you normally have for insurance? Kasi there's a sample, we have
Right.
information about them, so we can
Mm-hmm.
define them, we can segment them based on their backgrounds, age,
Yep.
anong generation sila nanggaling, so
Mm-hmm.
yon. Is it okay if we answer questions from the chat? Because I'm
Oh,
seeing.
absolutely. There is one from Juan Bata that came in earlier. Are there tools for CJM, or is it more of a pen and paper Excel kind of process? Oh, Excel, go to solution for everyone. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it out there.
So, well, definitely you can still use Excel. You can use a lot of things, but there is UXpressia. I've been using UXpressia for um, customer journey mapping because they already have like a template for CJM. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want more um, parang parts on your template, not just the 5 items that I've mentioned a while ago, not just the touch points. There's also the emotions. You can add that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
available in UX Prescia. So you can check that out if you wanted to explore CGM.
Mm. Okay, okay. Great recommendation. I'll try to put it on the chat later so that our viewers can check it out right after the show.
Mm-mm.
Another one from Juan Bata. Should CJM be driven by the product team or another unit, or is it a broad across the board effort? And that's actually a great question.
Mm-mm.
Especially when you're inviting a lot of these teams and departments into that meeting, are there some voices that are stronger than the others? Are there hippos in the room? Are there really very important people that will say, no, this is our problem, this is how we're going to fix it, this is what we're going to do?
Mm-mm.
But who should be triggering, or who should be triggering CJM, or is it a shared experience really?
So there are companies now who have a specific customer experience team who
Mm-hmm.
drives the customer journey mapping, and identifying, the pain points for each of the customer touch points. They are called the customer experience team. But for smaller teams, the product managers, it's part of our responsibility to grow our product, be it
Mm-hmm.
improve the experience or improve the P&L. It's part of our responsibility. So if you're looking to do comparative analysis, before you do competitive analysis, you can have a feedback from your CGM and see, is this even a pain point for us to tackle this
Mm-hmm.
improvement on a feature? So it can be a product manager or a product team, or it can be a specific CX team.
Okay, got it, got it. Speaking of answering the question, has there been several examples in the past where the questions answered by the CGM turned out to not be the actual problem? And what are some of the steps that can be taken by the team when they experience that? Let's just say you go in your validation phase and you said, okay, this is the feature, we're checking it out, let's see if it works, and then boom, it works, but it didn't solve the problem. Does that trigger another CJM, or what's an exercise that would be good for that? Is it more of a rolling journey to do CJMs, just CJM, CJM, CJM until you get it right? What are your thoughts on that?
So CGM is not like perfectly identifying the fix or the solution. It's only
Mm,
identifying the opportunities.
right.
So let's say you've already identified that the opportunity is to improve, let's say, the display of your portfolio page, or the
Okay.
display of your friends list, or something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Once you've identified that opportunity, it's not yet the solution. So you can come up with different solutions to target that opportunity. And then you can do customer validation and see whether this solution will help
mm-hmm,
you improve the experience that you're getting. Or you can also do A/B testing. For doing that,
mm,
A/B testing, right? We release
right,
design different to a certain percentage of our users to
right.
validate whether this would solve the issue.
That's a good point. Speaking of issue, though, when we're designing CGM, and it's very strong emphasis on identifying the pain points. That being said, there will be several pain points that always get surfaced in CGM, right? It's almost never just one thing. It's a cabinet. That's a strange term to use, but it's a shelf
Of a
full
lot
of
of pain points.
exactly. It's just a shelf full of problems and pain points. That being said, are pain points created equally? And if not, how do you decide which one to go after? Is it based more on business goals? Is it product delivery, or is it driven more strongly by which pain point answered brings in the most money? How is the triage of pain points worked out when CJMs are being done?
Well, I guess we'll go back to product ownership side, or product ownership responsibility of a product manager. If
Hmm.
you're doing Scrum, you have the product owners, and the product
Okay.
owners will ensure that after the end of this release, you get the maximized value out of it. And how do
Mm.
you do that? You look at um, the of course you've thought about the solution, right? But
Right.
you need to come up with all of the requirements. Do you have all of the requirements so that your team can build on that solution? Because if you don't even have the requirements, you don't have the solution, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the tool to build that, then you still can proceed with it. So
Mm.
there's the doable, there's the lovable kind of aspects that you have to consider. Yes, it's probably going to give you $1 million after releasing this. We don't know. But is it doable
I
now?
like $1 million.
Right? So you have to think about the things that you think about when you're wearing the shoes of a product owner. So yeah,
Mm.
you maximize the value for your next release.
No, that's a great answer. So CJM really is not just the process. It's the coming together of all your departments and teams,
Mm-hmm.
and all the stakeholders, and understanding. Okay, which ones which ones are we really trying to solve here? What is the core solution we're trying to do? Which
Mm-hmm.
core problems are we trying to answer?
Yes.
Oh, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay. So with that being said, since there is always that collaboration for making these decision making, um, when you're going through the CJM, aside from getting the customer feedback from your normal channels like Google Play, in-app feedback,
Mm-hmm.
bug complaints, just saying that makes me anxious. um, have you ever tried experiencing the problem yourselves? Is it a good practice to if you're trying to understand what the problems of a person applying for a loan is, do you apply for a loan yourself in the company? Is that something that we should that product managers can take a step further, actually do what the customer is doing, and go through the customer journey themselves? And have you done that in the past as well?
Well, I do that for the purpose of providing my development team
Mm,
substantial information so that they understand where the issue is. It's like if you tell me you're not able to log in, but I was able to log in, I'm gonna go out of my way and try to figure out why this customer wasn't able to log in. Was it because of his phone?
mm,
Does he not have enough memory on his phone? Stuff like that. Or is it specific to his device? Was he a Huawei user?
mm,
Are we not able to cater to Huawei users right now?
mm.
Parang ganon. So um ayun, so sometimes if you can, if you have the capacity to try it, why not? So that you can see also the experience of, okay, nakakalito nga tong message na to. Do we need this? What message are we trying to convey with this copy? Something like that. So you see it for yourself. But then of course, you still have the bias because you designed it eh. Baka
Right.
you have the thinking na this is perfect kasi this is my
Of
product.
course, I made it.
But
How
of course
dare
that's
you?
not
How
true.
dare anyone? No, I'm just kidding.
So we somehow have that bias to the product that we built. But when we have feedback coming from the customers that what we have out there doesn't work, that triggers
Mm,
investigation from our end. It
mm,
sort of it will trigger either we need to further validate from the customer how to improve this. You go back to the to your CGM, to whatever
right,
CGM you had in the past and
right,
see what was the pain point again. Why did we have this message on the board? Was it
right,
answering any pain point or something like that? Ganon.
right. That actually touched on was going to be my next question. How do you keep yourself from being biased, especially when you're observing the shiny thing you've made yourself? It's like trying to proofread an email or document you're going to send because you wrote it. You're blind to the fact of some of the errors you're making. But we'll get back to that later because we have a question from Anne coming in on the chat.
Mm-mm.
So she asked, how should we measure the success of CJM? Is there a golden metric? Is there a magic number we can look at to confirm we're doing the right thing? Oh, I love the use of the air quotes, the right thing.
Mm.
Okay.
I'll be honest. In my experience, CGM, we cannot attach parang a KPI to the CJM. But
Mm.
the solutions that you build, that's where you can attach KPIs or success measures. Like, let's say you already have your app out there and no one's using it. So you
Mm.
did a customer journey map to understand the entire experience of the customer while using your app. And then doon lumalabas yung mga pain points mo. Now, if your goal for your product is to drive digital adoption, then
Mm.
you need to look at the pain points. And then if the pain points are telling you na kaya hindi sila gumagamit ng app because ang bigat tong app and they can't
Mm.
download that, then you can address that. And then once making digital adoption mo, then nakikita mo na may success measure. There's that success measure on your app itself, on the solution itself, but not on the CGM. Kumbaga, CGM is just a tool, but it shouldn't be used as a measure or a cadence for your performance.
Mm. Mm. I understand. I understand. Okay. Um, Following that note,
Mm-hmm.
it for CJM and that workflow, and getting there is no magic number. It's really about asking the questions, the right questions. Angelica asked from chat, but how do you ask the right questions to get the information? Is there any framework that aspiring product managers or current product managers can use so that they can you have a guide so that they don't are not blinded with their bias when asking questions. Is there a guide or examples that can be used by product managers to ask the right questions, or is that more of self-discovery and experience?
Okay, so I couldn't provide you with like a golden rule on the type of questions. Like
Right.
it's not just a yes or no kind of thing. But what helps is that when you are interviewing or when you're asking, getting feedback from your customers, you have to ensure that you're not putting the answers to their mouth. So you try
Mm,
to get as
right.
much responses from them without you telling them na perfect na to, no? Ang ganda na nung button natin, no? Alam mo yung gagawin pag nabasa mo to. It's not
That's
like
what I
that.
was gonna ask. Siyempre, yun ang tanong ko. Parang, ba't ang ganda nung ano?
It's not like that.
Ganda ng
Syempre,
OTP natin.
as much as you can, you try to get parang allow them to elaborate further on their responses. So you can ask questions like, um, how how does this messaging or what are your thoughts about this messaging?
Mm-hmm.
Do you maybe you can end it there and then pwede nilang sabihin na I don't know what to do. I don't know what it says. Parang ganon. So from there pa lang you will know na agad na the messaging isn't clear. If you have a target for that, you can say, let's say ang target mo sana for that copy is so that they will update their information. But then, hindi ganun yung messaging, yung dating ng messaging sa kanila. From there pa lang, validate po na yung
Mm,
dapat mong ilagay na pain point. Sabi mo doon na, pati mo sabihin doon na, okay, hindi nila naintindihan tong messaging na to. So,
yep.
the opportunity is to improve that. Yun.
Yep. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Let's check out our other questions. By the way, if anyone is wondering, this is a mug, but it is also an ice
And
maker.
ice, yeah.
How did you know that, Arnie?
I saw that on Facebook too.
Okay, it's also on Shopee. My wife got this for me, and I've turned it into my own personal mug. So check it out. A little
Two in
plug in.
one.
Yeah, exactly. For more on CJMs, Angelica asked. She wonders how you can get feedback from your customers. I know Google Play and in-app feedback, and she asked, "Is Google Sheet Form a go-to solution for asking surveys? What's a great way to get feedback from your customers?" Just between me, Google Sheet is the best thing ever. So it just solves all the problems.
I guess you
uh,
can use Google Sheet for your note taking, but the best way to do customer journey map, if you have an actual customer to talk to, is
right.
conduct it via an online, you know, like a video call like this, so
Mm,
that you can share your screen, they can share their feedback while you are navigating, or you can allow them to navigate and then they can share their screen. I think Elimar wants the mic.
Oh yeah. Thanks for joining us, Ellie. Ellie was one of our speakers, and I'm going to give the mic over right now. Fire away, Ellie. Ellie, can you
Hello,
hear us? You have mic.
We can
I
hear
think
you.
you're on mute. I think you're on mute.
do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you
Oh,
now.
there you go.
That's perfect.
Hey, sorry, I just want to quickly add on measuring CJM. What we've done so far, in my experience, is to incorporate that per touch point, a metric per touch point. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, if you want to measure on checkout, a CSAT, for if it's an e-commerce store, and then a CSAT on the delivery of the item, and then the turnaround time from there to the end, and you can add those as elements in the CJM, so
Mm-hmm.
that you have now a baseline metric. So if you have a baseline metric, by the next CJM, are you beating that baseline metric? So
Mm-hmm.
that's one way of applying metrics to a
To
CJM
your
perspective.
CGM.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry, just decided. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
please. By all means, thanks, Ellie. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
Okay.
for sharing.
What happened? Oh, okay, okay. That was your. I thought we lost a video there for a second. Okay, with that example, chat, you can request for the mic at any time. And that being said, this goes to Product PH team. When are we gonna set up a full chair of speakers and have a roundabout session? That's an interesting. You see how someone just popped in and shared a few bits of wisdom. I think we can do a full suite, a round chair of interviews next time. Something to think about. It's probably time to do a CJM for Product PH. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, let's get back to our questions. Um, uh, how often, this is from Diane uh, Geroy. I hope I said it right.
Mhm.
How often should a survey be conducted? I know we touched on this a little earlier, and you mentioned talked extensively about it as well. It can be at the start or before the launch of the product. It's really up to you. But I guess for Diane, are there triggers, or are there frequencies on how often you should do a survey to get the pulse of your customers?
Okay, so like I mentioned a while ago, hindi naman siya yung parang every sprint magre-release magsi-CJM
Mm,
tayo. We want to have CJM at the very beginning so that we understand the as is. Like what it is right now, how is the overall experience
mhm.
right now? And then maybe after your MVP or your next major release, you can do another CJM for those that have already updated, let's say, their app so that you can understand was the recent mass update helped us achieve our goals, be it adoption, be it more digital
Mm.
transactions and whatnot. So whether there's that milestone, you can do the CJM, but please don't do it like a weekly or monthly thing because it
It
really takes
terrifies me.
time.
It terrifies me.
So yeah, and you also have a lot of bugs pa din to look into. So there's that combination of um do you have the available time to also
Right.
do it, and to me it's best to do the CJM when you're already at the point where we've released a lot and we can't seem to figure out why customers are not
Right.
using the app. They
Right.
are downloading it but not using it and stuff like that. When you've stumbled upon questions that you can no longer
Mm.
answer, talk to your customers and do CJM.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's perfect. I'm sorry, I got anxious. Every time people just say bugs, I'm like, oh my God.
It
But aren't
doesn't
bugs just undiscovered features? Oh, controversial,
really.
controversial. That's for a roundtable. Watch out for that, chat. We're gonna have a show about that. Are bugs just undiscovered features? Oh my God. Oh my God, raising a few eyebrows in the room. I know you're signing up for that show. You're signing up for that show. Okay, okay. You talked about putting yourself in the shoes of the customer. That being said, I would just love to put my shoes in the customer and just shop, shop, shop. Know that experience, and I get things for free. I get things for free. With that being said, department stores and groceries seem to have a very good grasp on customer journeys when entering the aisle with all the placement, especially with your picture. There is a story, right? Second floor, moms, yeah, yeah. Third, fourth, and then tech at the very top. And
Yeah.
especially for groceries, I read an interesting item where they would put they would put candy bars at eye levels of the children right near the cashier because they would ask mommy or daddy to buy it right before they go to the counter. It's just a last minute impulse buy that seems to be converting for quick sales. They don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, please, huwag mo kulitin. Like, just get the candy bar. Get the candy bar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with all that research, with all that experience from department stores and groceries, is it possible? And have you experienced reaching out and getting some of these insights? Because they probably have answers to a lot of questions we're rediscovering again. How do we like get that insight from these other channels? Have you tried reaching out to other channels and say, "Oh, can I sit down? I just want to understand like how are you enticing your customers to get inside your mall? Just go through this journey because now that everything's online, I just feel like your phone is just the mall, and I don't think anyone's gonna press 7 buttons to get to one particular item. How does that change? But how do we get that information that research has already been done from the malls? And have you tried it out too, Arnie?
Personally, I haven't done that, but I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. But I believe that for
Mm,
supermarkets, for those that have, an physical
right.
store, they have different studies. Sometimes they have their market, what do you call it? Like buyers. They deploy their own
Oh,
buyers to
mystery buyers, mystery
experience.
buyer. Ah, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dream job. That's my dream
To
job.
when I was younger too. Yeah, they are the ones who actually experience the buying
Right.
journey while inside the store. So that's not something that I did personally, or that's not something that I have an experience on. But I think that those that have local stores would normally do have mystery buyers so that they can get the feedback from that. I think it's kind of similar to when we are trying to release a new design, let's say for our website or our apps, we can sometimes send the prototypes to UX testing, and then we can pay people to test the experience on our new design or something like that.
Mm,
So
a dream.
um that's kind of similar to what I think what you were saying, but this is sort of the second bullet point that I raised a while ago when I said that before launching your solution you also have to validate it with your
Mm,
customers. I guess this is also different with what you're mentioning, because with what you're mentioning, the store is
yeah,
already there, pero tayo kasi and they have their stores for a long
exactly,
time
exactly.
na. So they have the science, they have
Mm-mm.
the logic as to how they place things, and they learned it from
Right.
experience, from their Mr. Buyers, their own experiences dun sa loading
Yep,
nila,
yep, yep,
ganyan
yep,
yung
yep.
effort nila for that. So I guess for us in the digital space, we normally you can do that UX validation with them.
Yeah, no, I love that. Oh, and now I just want to talk about this more. But we've taken up so much time already. But oh, chat, think about that. Think about that. You put electronics on the seventh floor because that's where your techies and the young guys go to on the seventh floor.
Mm,
But when you're on your app, no one's gonna click something 7 times just to get the tech. They go to tech immediately. Ooh, and now I just
mhm.
want to keep talking about this. Ah, but I don't wanna hug the mic. I'm opening the chat for more questions. It is 8:15, and we're just about ready to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Arne. This is an amazing talk. I am looking forward to doing that sit
Yeah,
down question.
thank you.
We need more people talking about one topic. And then we can have Kate.
I also wanted to thank Ellie for sharing his insights. I think he works with, I don't know, are you working with UX team, Ellie? UXPH?
Oh, see that we did that
He seems.
for UXPH conferences before. Ooh,
Oh,
ah,
I see. Okay.
fantastic, fantastic. Okay,
Thank you.
again, opening the chat for questions. We're going to give it a few more seconds before we close it out. Oh, well, Ellie is the founder of UXPH.
Oh,
Should have
wow.
down
Hi.
just casually dropping there. Hi guys, just the founder. I'm the founder. What's up? I'm like, hello, hello. Hello. I did it for the conference because that's me. The day job. The day job is JG. So
All right. He's from JG. Okay.
okay. I
All
just
right.
casually started my own org. It's just a global event. I had spare.
Walang wala.
Wala lang. Parang Saturdays I had nothing to do.
Chill lang.
I just invite people across the globe. Nothing. Okay, we are getting emojis now on the chat, so I guess we don't have any more questions. Before we go, thank you again, Arnie, for joining us today. A great talk about
Mm.
CJM. We're looking forward to getting you back on the show and trying out that format and asking some of those interesting, juicy questions, which I will not repeat because I will not be able to resist. But thank you so much, Arnie.
You'll be triggered.
Are bugs? No, no. Let's not start it. Let's not start it. Okay. Thanks for joining us today, too, Chad. Watch out for our next show, which should be coming in next month. But if you want to become a part of the organizer team, contact us at admin@productph.org. It is, let me try to copy paste it because I understand technology. And yeah, there you go. Okay. If you want to join us, send us an email, follow us on Facebook. Let us know. Thank you so much, Arnie. She has her profile on the screen now. Oh, I love the QR code. I got to do it. Why don't I have that? Uh, Chat, product PH. Why don't we have that? Okay. Again, this is Product PH. Thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us tonight. So thank you. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, Arnie. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having
So,
me.
we're looking forward to getting you back again. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
guys. Have a
Have
great
a
evening.
great weekend. Oh, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Gotta get back to. Oh, it's a Steam sale. It's a Steam sale. Chat, it's Steam sale. Get on Steam.
Oh,
60
really.
to 80% off. 60 to 80% off. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Ernie.
Bye.